If it wasn't for DCN Power Players, I don't think I ever would have went to go see this movie like ever, but it was fun. So let's get into it. What's going on, people? Alex Thorn here, and I'm just a rock and roller who in his downtime likes to watch movies while wearing a bandana. And right off the bat, I've got to say thank you to channel member The One DDG Danny for the merch. He made my first ever Thorn Theater shirt. Thank you so much, DDG. I appreciate you so much. You guys got to become members too, but we'll talk about that towards the end of this review. And the other person I have to thank and also ask for you guys to send a follow to is Darnell of DCN Presents Power Players. Me and Darnell have been friends for 8 to 9 years now, and I respect the hell out of him for being the officer that he is. And he is a huge fan of Transformers. Now, me on my end, I am aware of Transformers. I saw some of the cartoons when I was younger. Absolutely loved the toys, but we could never afford them because I didn't want the smaller Transformers figures. I wanted the big Transformers figures, and simply put, my family couldn't afford those. So I stuck to what we could afford, which was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Hasbro versions of WWF figures, and you know, Batman Returns and Toxic Avenger and all those cool things. Now, when the Transformers movies started to come out, again, I didn't like the art direction. I heard the Transformers was coming out, and I'm talking about the very first one in like the late 2000s or whatever it was. I remember hearing about it and I was like, oh, what's that going to look like? I saw one bit of the CGI and how shiny and just way too many parts that those Transformers had, and I was out. And from that point until right now, Transformers 1, I had zero interest. But once I saw the trailer that Officer D from DCN Power Players sent me, I was like, oh, you know what? I think I can do this. So let's talk about what Transformers 1 is all about. Brothers in arms, Orion Pax and D16 become sworn enemies, Optimus Prime and Megatron. So essentially, this movie is an origin story. And no wonder that's why it looks like the more classic versions of what I'm used to, or anybody in my age range might be used to for Transformers. And I gotta tell you right off the bat, they looked great. The movie looked great. And I think that is mainly because of the way we watched it. Again, knowing that my friend is a huge fan of Transformers, I wasn't just gonna take him to the theater to watch the standard version. We had to go watch it in 3D and 4DX thanks to Regal Cinemas. As you already know, we're introduced to the prior versions of Megatron and Optimus Prime, and they're buddies, they're friends, they have some great banter between each other, and it's a classic story of trying to root for the underdogs. While there's all these other ones who can transform and do all that, the coal miners can't. They just weren't born to their knowledge with those abilities. So they set out to prove themselves and say, we can do this. We can really do this. Like I said, the banter between Megatron and Prime is great. I can deal with it. I loved it. Then we met a yellow robot pre-transformer. And I kid you not, I had to lean over to D halfway through the movie and say, who the hell is this guy? What is this? And he goes, that's Bumblebee. Going into this, I didn't know this movie was rated PG. I thought this would be at least PG-13. And there's a couple things that are said in it that make me say, like, really, this is PG? But the tone of Bumblebee, who is played by Keegan from Aaron and Keegan and Peele and all that stuff. If it's a childish tone, that's for sure. Alita 1 is played by Scarlett Johansson. Alpha Trion is played by Lawrence Fishburne. Sentinel Prime by John Hamm. Optimus Prime by Chris Helmsworth. And Megatron is played by Brian Tyree Henry. And I think he shocked me the most out of everybody because you're used to him being really silly. The first time I saw this guy was in the Child's Play movie and then in Kong vs. Godzilla. And I got to tell you that every time I saw him, I felt he was out of place. I felt like he didn't need to be where he was. I felt like as an actor, he didn't deserve to be where he was. But this worked out because you didn't see him. And he was able to play that friendly role up front. He was able to change in the middle of the film, and he was able to become what he becomes, Megatron, by the end of the film. And it all worked because you didn't see him. And again, this is because he has this presence to him that is very goofball-esque. Like Keegan and Brian in this movie, they can perfectly go in a live action movie together. They can be as silly as they want, as soft as they want with each other in their comedy. But in this movie, Brian really was able to go hard with his acting talents and vocal talents versus you seeing him and that contradicting what you're hearing. If it was not for the 3D, 4DX aspect to the version that we saw, I would be really disappointed with this movie because it follows such a typical beat by beat, like Disney-esque film storyline. And I don't know if that's the storyline that was originally, done in the cartoon or in the comics or wherever. But I know that I just felt like this is just the same old that we've seen thousands of times, but with robots. With all that being said, I think it's time that we do get to the bandana rating of this film, because as somebody who didn't know much about the storyline before it, now it feels like it's a very generic story in general. So let's get to the bandana rating. And I'm going to give Transformers 1 3 bandanas out of 5 because I think if you watch it in a special format, it is totally fun, totally worth it. I think once it comes out to physical media, if you watch it on a good TV, like an OLED or a mini QLED, then it'll stand out really, really well. But if you just watch it on a standard lower end TV, or you just stream it, or you just watch it on standard when you go to the movie theater, there's nothing about this movie that makes it stand out other than the fact that you are nostalgic because you grew up with it. Guys, let me know what you thought of Transformers 1. If you haven't seen it yet, are you going to go see it? What was the point of the Transformers series that you got into it? And what did you think of the previous movies in this series? Because I know when I saw Mark Wahlberg and I saw Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox in the trailers for all the old ones that I never saw, I remember just thinking like, this doesn't feel right. So let's talk down below in the comment section and let me know what you thought about it. Plus, for one lucky commenter down below, you're going to win something special. And in order to win something special, you have got to be subscribed to this channel, like this video, and down below, tell me who is your favorite Transformer. And you will win this awesome 4DX Transformer 1 poster that I got from the movie theater when I saw it tonight. I want to give this out to you guys. And the way, after I announce on a future video who won this, the way you'll be able to claim it is heading over to the Facebook of Thorn Theater. Guys, as always, I plan on going live for members only as well as for the public. But if you want to get into more behind the scenes stuff, request your own reviews, as well as get these reviews early, you got to become a member of this channel. That's right, Thorn Theater has real deal membership laminated cards for all of you Thornaholics out there and horror lovers. Not only that, but you get to request your own reviews. Let's say there's something out there you're really dying for me to review, but the masses may not want it, or it's not something that's gonna move the numbers. Guess what? You pay, you control the narrative. You get early access to videos, live only chats, as well as exclusive watch alongs just for members right here on this channel. And if you don't feel like committing to that, you can always leave me a super chat, super thanks, or buy me a coffee. That's right, buy me a coffee right now is a way that you can support somebody like me for making videos just for you guys, doing what we love to do. But guess what? If you buy me a coffee, at least you're fueling the journey. And right now, Buy Me a Coffee has an update to where when you leave your note of why you have gifted me coffee, I can respond back to you in video form. And with all that being said, people, I'm Alex Thorn, and you know what I gotta do. I gotta rock out, watch some movies, and review them for you.